Netflix has given us some incredible, bone-chilling true crime documentaries, but believe it or not, there are some stories so bizarre, so twisted, they haven't made it to the streaming giant yet. Today, we're diving into murder cases that are almost too insane to be real. These aren't just crimes, they're puzzles wrapped in enigmas, with details that will leave you questioning everything. So, grab your detective hat and let us get into the stories that might just be too wild even for a Netflix series. First up, we have the bizarre case of the man from Somerton, also known as the Tamam Shud case. On December 1st, 1948, an unidentified man was found dead on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. He was well-dressed, had no signs of violence, and all the labels on his clothing were cut off. The cause of death couldn't be determined, but poison was suspected. The real mystery, however, was found in a hidden pocket in his trousers, a tiny, rolled-up piece of paper torn from a book with the words Tamam Shud printed on it. This phrase means it is ended or finished in Persian, and it is the final phrase. In the book of poems, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, the police launched a nationwide search for the copy of the book that the scrap came from. Amazingly, a man came forward, claiming he had found a rare first edition of the Rubaiyat in the back of his unlocked car, around the time the body was discovered. In the back of this book, investigators found faint pencil markings. It was a handwritten code, a jumble of letters that, to this day, has never been cracked by the world's best cryptographers. There was also a phone number belonging to a nurse who lived nearby. When questioned, the nurse, known only as Justin, was evasive. She denied knowing the man, but seemed visibly distressed when shown a plaster cast of his face. She also admitted to having owned a copy of the Rubaiyat, which she had given to a man named Alfred Boxall during World War II. For a moment, it seemed the case was solved. Alfred Boxall must be the Somerton man. But then, Boxall was found alive and well, with his copy of the Rubaiyat, complete with the Tamam Shud page intact. So, who was the dead man on the beach? A spy? A jilted lover? Was the code a secret message? To this day, the identity of the Somerton man and the meaning of the cryptic code remain one of Australia's most profound mysteries. His body was exhumed in 2021 for DNA analysis, but the results have yet to provide any definitive answers. It's a real-life spy thriller with no final chapter. Next, we travel to a quiet Belgian village for the perplexing case of the Istel woman. In November 1970, a group of hikers stumbled upon a partially burned female body in a remote valley known as Istalen, or Ice Valley. The scene was strange. The woman was surrounded by sleeping pills, a packed lunch, and empty bottles of liquor. Her face was burned beyond recognition, and her fingerprints had been sanded off. All the labels from her clothes were removed, just like the Somerton man. An autopsy revealed she had a high concentration of carbon monoxide in her lungs, meaning she was alive when she was set on fire. She also had over 50 sleeping pills in her stomach, though not enough to be a fatal dose on their own. The investigation took an even stranger turn when the suitcases belonging to the woman were found at a train station in Bergen. Inside, police discovered a collection of wigs, eyeglasses with plain glass, maps, train timetables, and several different currencies. Most intriguingly, they found a notepad with coded entries. Unlike the Somerton man's code, this one was decipherable. It turned out to be a record of the places she had visited. The investigation revealed she was a polyglot, fluent in at least 4 languages, and had traveled all over Europe using at least 9 different fake identities. Witnesses who interacted with her described her as elegant and secretive. Who was she? The theories are wild. Some believe she was a spy, perhaps for Israel's Mossad or a Cold War agency. The area where her body was found was reportedly used for testing new military technology, adding fuel to the espionage theory. Others suggest she was involved in an international crime ring. Despite decades of investigation, including forensic isotope analysis of her teeth, which traced her childhood to the Nuremberg area of Germany, her true identity and the reason for her death remain a complete mystery. The Istel woman is a ghost, a woman who seemingly never existed, leaving behind only a trail of questions and a story that feels ripped from a spy novel. Our third case takes us to rural Ohio and the chilling story of the Circleville letter writer. Starting in 1976, residents of Circleville, Ohio, began receiving anonymous, menacing letters. The letters were written in a distinctive block style and accused people of personal scandals and secrets. The primary target was a school bus driver named Mary Gillespie, whom the writer accused of having an affair with the school superintendent. The letters weren't just sent to Mary, they were sent to her husband, Ron, her family, and even posted on public signs for everyone to see. The harassment escalated. Ron Gillespie became obsessed with finding the writer. One day in August 1977, he received a phone call. He grabbed his gun, told his kids he was going to confront the letter writer, and sped off in his truck. He never made it. His truck veered off the road and crashed into a tree, killing him instantly. His death was ruled an accident, but many, including his family, believe he was forced off the road. The letters didn't stop. In fact, they gloated about Ron's death. The investigation eventually pointed to Ron's own brother-in-law, Paul Fressauer. Mary Gillespie had started to suspect him, and during a police stakeout, a sign targeting Mary was posted along her bus route. Paul was seen near the area, and a gun found at his home was determined to be the same one used to set a booby trap on the sign. He was convicted of attempted murder for the booby trap, but only on circumstantial evidence. He maintained his innocence until his death. And here's the craziest part. The letters continued even while he was in prison, even from solitary confinement. The prison authorities couldn't explain it. So, was Paul Fressauer the real Circleville letter writer? Or was he a scapegoat, with the true culprit still at large? This case is a terrifying look into how anonymous threats can tear a small town apart and lead to tragedy, with a central mystery that has never been truly solved. Finally, we have the gruesome and baffling Hinterkaifeck murders. This is one of Germany's most notorious unsolved crimes. In 1922, on a small farmstead called Hinterkaifeck in Bavaria, 6 people were brutally murdered with a pickaxe. The victims were the farmer Andreas Gruber, his wife Causilia, their widowed daughter Victoria, her 2 young children, and the family's new maid. The details are the stuff of nightmares. Days before the murders, Andreas had told neighbors about finding mysterious footprints in the snow leading from the woods to the farm, but none leading away. He heard footsteps in the attic and found a strange newspaper on his property. His house keys had also gone missing. He refused to go to the police. On the evening of March 31st, it seems the killer lured the family members, one by one, into the barn and killed them. They then went into the house and murdered the maid and Victoria's 2-year-old son in their beds. What is especially chilling is that the killer apparently stayed at the farm for several days after the murders. Neighbors reported seeing smoke from the chimney, and the cattle had been fed. The bodies weren't discovered until 4 days later. Over 100 suspects were questioned over the years, but no one was ever charged. Theories ranged from a jealous lover of Victoria's to a robber, but nothing fit perfectly. Why would a robber stick around to feed the cows? The crime scene was compromised from the start, with dozens of people trampling through it before police could secure it. In 2007, a German police academy took on the Hinterkaifeck case as a cold case project. They concluded that they could identify a prime suspect, but would not name them out of respect for living relatives. However, without a confession or definitive evidence, the case officially remains unsolved. It's a story of pure, isolated horror that defies easy explanation. So there you have it, for cases that are almost too strange for fiction. From unidentified spies to anonymous tormentors and phantom farmers, these stories prove that sometimes the truth really is stranger than anything a writer could dream up. What do you think happened in these cases? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to like and subscribe for more mysteries. See you next time.